All right, my friends, I'm just waiting for one of my kids' track meets to get over. He's done running. Hope this isn't making it okay. So at Cambridge High School here in Milton, Georgia, just waiting for him to finish up. And I'm doing some walking. I'm doing some laps around the school. I'm waiting because track is a long event. I've been thinking, we talked about the live stream earlier today. The guy who emailed me earlier today about he's worried about inflation going to kick him out of his home. I actually don't believe that anymore. I actually think what it is a political posture. And I don't like this. And let me just explain it real quick. So he elaborated a little bit more on his property tax. He was paying, I think he said like $1,000 a year, $800 a year 20 years ago. Now he's paying like $4,000 a year. And he has a second home in East Texas where he's paying like $200 a year in property tax. Now he's paying like $1,000, something like that. And I'm sorry, you're not going to get put out of your home for $5,000 in property tax. I don't care what that's what I'm saying. It's like it annoys me because I know what's happening here, and I'm going to caution you not to get too involved in the political posturing of the blue is bad, the red is good, or vice versa. It does nothing for you dudes. So his issue essentially is that Joe Biden comes in office, his costs are going up, and he's extrapolating that. The idea he could lose his house. Turns out he has two houses, so there's no way he's worried about that. You can't let politics dominate your life, man. You can't. It's a path of. I was watching my man Paul from Pockets right now talk about Jenna Bush and just what a clown that lady is. And then and the reason is because that's George Bush's daughter, and Barbara Bush, George H.W. Bush. The whole Bush clan, from Prescott Bush, who's a freaking Nazi sympathizer, to George H.W. Bush, to George W. Bush, to Jenna Bush, Jeb Bush, that's our side. That's our side. And they're all clowns, dude. They don't care two craps about you at all. They're just desperate for attention. That's all these people want. And so for you to sit there and say, oh, Sniffy Joe's inflation is going to put me out of my house, I know you don't think that. I know you don't. You just want to basically say those guys are bad, my guys are good. Because I see it all over, man. I'm telling you. Because the idea would be our guys are good. What do you think Mitch McConnell's doing right now? Oh, he's saying to Tucker Carlson, how dare you show the January 6th footage? That's Mitch McConnell. It looks like Joni Ernst was in there. Freaking Thune from South Dakota. These are our guys. Our guys are no better than their guys, man. They're not. So to make up stuff like you're worried about, you have two houses, dude. I'm talking to the general audience here because I want to go into a little bit deeper. You're not worried about being put out of your house. You just don't like the current guy in office and it makes you mad. And I get it, but it doesn't freaking matter. It doesn't matter. The current guy in office, regardless of how he got in there, it doesn't matter. You cannot let politics dominate your life because there's nothing you can do. You can't vote harder. We're not in Chicago. We can't vote early and often. Not our side. There's nothing you can do about it. So to let these guys dominate your office, to make up something like, oh, I'm going to lose my house, especially when you got two houses, dude, you know that's not true. You know it's not true. So why would you even say that? That's what I don't understand. Like, why? Well, the cost of foods are going up. All right. I mean, and I asked him, I said, how much do you actually spend? And the last I checked, he didn't write back to that. So I just said in my live stream, I said, let's say he's spending $60,000 a year, just this current, whatever it is, $60,000 a year for everything. And property tax are $5,000 of that $60,000. So whatever that is, 8%. So I think 8% of his budget goes to property tax. And his property taxes go up, I don't know, I say 20%, whatever it is. All right, so your personal inflation rate relative to property tax, yes, has gone up 20%, but in terms of actual dollars spent, it hasn't gone up that much at all. Certainly hasn't gone up 20%. It just hasn't. Well, my food, and some other guy piped in, well, some foods are 4 to 5 times what they were 5 years ago. I said, this is why there's something called a substitution effect. This is what humans have been using for centuries, dude. If ribeye goes up, you buy more ground chuck. You don't have as ribeyes. You buy New York strip, or you buy ground chuck. Well, it doesn't taste as good. Exactly. There are sacrifices that have to be made. I'm sorry, but this is just the way it works. But that's not going to put you out of your house, that you can't afford ribeye anymore. Hell, I see New York strip on sale right now at Publix for $9.99 a pound. You go freaking buy Costco, you could buy a whole thing of ribeye. You just got to cut it up. It's $7.99 a pound. That's ribeye. I'm sitting there thinking, what is this? It's all political. people are so, they have to focus on something, and it just makes them, I think, go loony. I'm sitting there thinking, all right, so some things, so substitution effect again. Freaking price of, I don't know, coffee goes up, you drink tea. I mean, this is what has happened throughout centuries. War, peace, the whole thing. It's just basic economics, man. It sucks, yeah. The price of planes are up higher now than they were a year ago. My wife wants to fly to Canada for summer to take a break. I'm like, damn, man, we should have gone last year when the dollar was a lot more valued against Canadian loonie. I think it's loonie. And I don't know what it is now. But, okay, so maybe we won't go. Maybe we will. I don't know. But, I mean, it annoys me because I'm sitting there thinking, dude, you're not being truthful to me, man. You're not worried about being put out of your home if you have 2 homes and your property tax are $5,000 a year. You're just not. And I don't get why we have this need to do this. It's just letting politics dominate. And I don't like that. I used to be there, dude. Trust me. You don't do that to yourself. Why? Well, the price of food's up. The price of energy's up. I get it. I get it. So what you do is you take your $60,000 a year expenses. You say, how much more is my stuff increased? And we just, let's say, I don't know, $5,000. All right, $5,000 is increased by 10%. Was that 12%, 8%, 8%? So I have $60,000 a year. I think $5,000, whatever that is. I don't know. For simplicity, we'll say 10%. I don't know. It's not. It's 8%. It's exactly what it is. 8 1/4, I think. I think it's 8 1/4. All right. So now your inflation has gone up by 8%, which means there's an extra $5,000 that you have to come out with out of pocket. Well, you know what else has gone up by 8% with Social Security, dude. So if $60,000 is your budget and Social Security provides you just say $45,000 of that, the vast majority of the inflation has been covered by Social Security. Now that does not mean you don't have to come out of pocket with some money, or that you have to pay more for other things, but it's not the same as putting you out of your house. Man, why do people got to do that? I just don't get it. Like, why do people got to say, I don't want to say make stuff up. I just don't get, look, I just don't get it, man. I'm sitting there thinking, what's the word? I don't want to say lack of gratitude. It's lack of joy, I guess. Lack of joy to sit there and say, man, I'm going to be put out of my house because of your property taxes are $5,000 a year. You said the taxes, there's no income tax in the state of Texas. The income taxes haven't gone up, and because he said taxes. Well, taxes are only property tax for this guy. All right, so they've gone up a little bit. Relative to your actual total your budget, it's just not that big of a deal, man. Especially if you're on Social Security. I don't like it. I just don't. It actually bothered me. This whole day just bothered me. I said, why is this guy saying that? Food. All right, so let's say your food budget is $10,000 a year, and now it's cost $12,000. So now your food budget's got up 20%, let's just say. Again, substitution effect. You can buy cheaper foods. You can find other places to buy food. Aldi. You could buy food that's a day old. There's a million different ways to skin this cat. But you know it's not going to put you out of your house, dude. You know it. All right, so food's gone up $2,000. So let's say property tax has gone up $1,000. Food, so that'd be a 20% increase in property tax. Food's got up 20%. Let's say another $2,000. That's $3,000 between them. Your electricity bill and all that, whatever. Let's say you normally spend $5,000 a year on electricity. Now you're spending $6,000 a year. So that's gone up, whatever that is, 20% there too. All right, so you have 20% increase across the board. $1,000 for electricity and other energy, $1,000 for food, and $1,000 for property tax. So now it's an extra $3,000 you're gonna have to come up with. All right, that sucks, dude. I get it, but that's not gonna put you out of your house, man. That's the thing when it comes to inflation. It was like, inflation's through the roof. And the man Sergio made a good point. He goes, I'd rather have high inflation and high Social Security COLAs than low inflation and low Social Security COLAs. I completely agree, because CPI isn't measuring inflation. It's just not. So if CPI is through the roof and they raise Social Security because of that, that's a win, dude. Because CPI does not measure inflation. I'm telling you, it's anyway. I don't know why it bothered me so much. I don't like this idea of overemphasizing negativity to make a political point. I think it's bad, dude. And I'd encourage you not to follow suit. All right, and if this makes people mad and they want to unsubscribe because you must like Sniffy Joe, do your best, man. I'm so over I'm so over the political posturing. I just don't care. It's one of those things like, I don't know, man. I just, if people are going to unsubscribe because of that, I don't care. Do what you got to do, man. How dare you? If you're going to email me, and I am going to examine the email, and if I have doubts about it, I'm going to bring those doubts to the table and share it with the audience. I didn't say this guy's name. This guy, all we know is he lives in Texas. I call him Slim Tim. We know it's Slim Tim from Texas. And I'm not saying he's a liar. I'm not saying he's deceitful. I think his priorities are gone. I think they are. Because I don't believe for 2 seconds he thinks he's going to lose his house. I just don't believe that. I'm sorry. Now, if you got 2 houses and your property tax are all at $5,000, I don't buy that for 2 seconds. So something's gone on in there in his mind that says, I got to report back to Josh that he's wrong about inflation. That really is going to put people out. Nah, dude, I don't want to live like that, man. I like to live in the real world. And the real world is sometimes, yeah, you might not be able to do the things you want, but you're not going to be put out of your house. That's just silly. All right, see ya.